really excited to have the turnout that we have again. We had a really, I hope everybody that's here now was here with us in January. We had a great meeting in January. There was a lot of discussion, a lot of networking. It was really wonderful. So if we'll do a quick recap, and what we discussed in January rather was our online programs and how we're facilitating them and how we're getting through to our kids and to our families right now. And there was some really, really fabulous ideas that came out from that. And so because of that, Lisa and I were thinking that it would be really wonderful if we discussed more online facilitation and how everybody is doing that and how it's getting to everybody, to the children. In January, when we first talked, I hadn't done any of my online programs yet. But now it's been a month and I facilitated at one of the schools, and I can say that it's really been wonderful. I was really, really worried because we feel like there's this kind of online fatigue for our kids, and that, it's just going to be like wah, wah, wah is what they're going to hear. But I was really pleasantly surprised that with my classes that I had going, my kids were still really engaged. And I was very stressed out about going back to work in this manner. A, because it was new. I'd never done anything online before. And B, like I said, it was really because I was just so worried that, like I wasn't going to be able to keep their attention and get our message through. But it was really great. And if you have the opportunity, initially when I first started, so this is what I found when we were doing the online with the kids, the first couple of classes, the teacher would just cast me on her TV, and I would see the whole classroom. But I couldn't really see the whole classroom. Like it was difficult, but it was manageable. But then after we got talking a little bit, we put all the kids on the Chromebooks. Now, granted, I know that not all of our age groups were going to be able to do this with. But if you are able to do it with your older kids, it's fantastic. They were all on a Chromebook. They were able to chat just like we are now. They could send me private questions. I was still able to talk and engage with them and have a free flowing conversation. So if you haven't done any online facilitation with classrooms yet, know that it is really not that scary. Trust me, like I said, I was terrified. And it really does go quite well. So that's been my experience so far with online facilitating. What we were hoping was to see how you guys are doing with your online courses and what's been going on. Does anybody want to add to this or tell us what we've been doing? It can't be a quiet meeting today, guys. We all have to talk today.
We just did our very first Zoom with kids on Friday, actually.
Okay.
And it went very well. And what we did was actually an online baking class, and they baked in their own houses.
Okay. And Barb, are you with FCSS?
Yes, in Bentley, sorry.
Oh, that's okay.
So it's a pilot project. And so what we did was have the kids came and picked up their the kits, so they got everything they needed to bake, and they'll have to bring them back to us in the end. But we worked with them off and on Friday, and they all baked 2 loaves of bread, 1 to keep and 1 to share.
Excellent.
So it's a huge learning curve for me with Zoom, but we see lots of potential now for sure.
Okay. What about, has anybody been facilitating in the classrooms? Like in our schools? With your youth programming? So there's been a lot of outside of the classroom programs that our FCSS workers have been doing, our youth workers.
Well, for Yellowhead County, we have been bringing different speakers into the classrooms. So we would set it up and then we would host. And what we found was the ability to reach schools that cover our county, because they're so far apart, we could offer a speaker to come in and have 3 or 4 different schools join in at one time, which is better than we've ever had before. We found that actually to be a better process, because last year when we were running It's Cool, we would set up speakers to come out and we would drive them from school to school. It would take us a full day to reach the same amount of kids as it did for us to reach them in 2 hours. So that saved us driving time and the facilitators time to drive out, and the weather was bad, so that was a bonus. We were still able to carry out our programs and stuff that way. The only thing we found that was hard is because we were so used to using Zoom, that in our area, all the schools are doing Google Meet.
Yeah.
That they had agreed to do Zoom. So we found that by the time we could get everybody to participate, for the kids to use Google Meet was definitely more friendly.
Yeah, I found that out too, Sandy. And actually today is my first time doing, in the afternoon, I'll be doing a Google Meets. And before I started up, I tried to familiarize myself with Google as well as Zoom. But I've been really lucky because I've been with the older kids right now. So we just maintained using Zoom. But with this, I'm going into a new school this week. And one of the teachers had suggested that we do Google Meet. So I'm going to be learning that platform now. And I think essentially it's the same way. It's just easier for the little ones to get on, right?
The other thing that we found was when we used Google Meet, because we don't necessarily have it set up that our FCSS owns one account with Google Meet, we were doing it off of our personal Google. So we had to sit down and refigure that out. Otherwise they get your information versus the FCSS information, like your email, you know what I mean? So
okay.
Figure that out.
Good to know.
Yes, so just pay attention to that part.
Sandy, what type of speakers did you bring in?
We had brought in speakers from Saffron because they were offering those free talks about cell phone safety. Mm-hmm. They were also doing, like, they're doing the bullying. They have just a whole list of them from grade 1 right up until 12 if you go on their website, and they're amazing. And right now, because we are like, we don't need them to come out, they've been doing them for free. So we've been trying to really get that out into the schools right now. Could
you put that website in the chat for us? And we could go check it out. Perfect. Thank you.
You betcha.
That sounds great. Anybody else?
Our youth action committee here in Innisfil, they've got a very active Instagram page. But one of the things that they've done over the last month and a half is they've done an escape room event. Like there's an online platform. I think it's still through Zoom, but there's some kind of package that you buy and it's an escape room theme. And apparently the first one went awesome and the second one is scheduled. And we've got families signing up together with their youth. So it's getting some traction. So that's been a good experience from what I'm hearing as well.
Excellent. Emma Murray, I just have a question about your comment. You said you've been doing in-person programming. Can I ask how you've been doing that?
Yeah, so hi, I'm Emma. I'm from Vanderbilt and District FCSS. So we ran our summer camp program this year, Sizzling Summer, for 6 weeks. And we just came up with a very strict program plan that followed all the cleaning guidelines, physical distancing guidelines that AHS gave us. And then when we noticed that our online programming really dwindled in January and the kids just weren't attending and you could tell their mental health was declining rapidly, we just made the reach to AHS to see if we could possibly do in-person programming. And they said yes, as long as we do follow all the rules. So like our kids are constantly masked. Everything is pretty distance from each other. We're lucky enough to have a church to rent out, so we have tons of space for activities. We do hand washing breaks and all this stuff, so it's a very clean environment. And we just lowered our numbers. So a lot of our programs have 20 to 30 kids, but we only have a maximum of 10. Right. And that just serves as their cohort. And yeah, they're just masked the whole time and we just go on with our activities. It's been really great to see them in person, and you can tell they love it because within one day, all of our programs were like maxed out to the 10 participants. So. Yeah.
Right. I thought that you were, that you meant that you were in the schools. So I was super excited for that. No, but that's great. Yeah. I'm glad that.
Yeah, our programming is just held at a different location because we aren't allowed in the schools. We actually haven't been back in the schools since March of 2020. Right. But I know somebody said, does that count as a social gathering? It doesn't. No. Because we asked that, and because we're part of the municipality, and it's more of like a mental health thing for the kids and it's a service for them. That's why we're allowed to run it. But we did have to get special written permission from AHS, and then our counselors discussed it as well. So that's how it got approved.
I know during the summer when I was running rec programs, we just had to follow the AHS guidelines, and like there's summer camp guidelines you have to keep checking because they're forever changing. But when we're running programs like that, because it's out of the schools, it's completely different than being able to be in the school. That falls under more of a rec department summer camp for AHS. So it's not really our youth preventative programs that we normally run in our schools. So yeah. Is anybody running any of our FCS youth programs in the schools?
We are up in the county of Grand Prairie. Sorry, it's Melody. Hi guys.
Hi Melody.
Hey, so we have school liaisons that are delivering a lot of our programs in the classrooms. In the rural schools, I find, we have 3 different school divisions in our area, and in the rural ones, most of them seem more than willing to have people into their classrooms. Some of the funded agencies that we work with as well are also getting into schools, as long as we have some guidelines around like only doing 1 cohort a day, so 1 classroom a day, or depending on how the school is structured, a cohort might be their whole school, but definitely doing 1 school a day. So we've adjusted kind of our systems for that. We would follow the same AHS guidelines as the teacher is following. So we're not using virtual as much when we can. Some of the other schools are a little bit more hesitant. And so we're finding that some of our funded agencies that might go on and talk about, suicide prevention or, who do you tell type programs, they're not getting the uptake as they normally do. So they are picking and choosing, but we're finding that our connections with schools around, I find most of the schools for us have been really mentally health aware. And so if we can kind of sell that to them, they've been super eager to have that uptake. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Melody. Like at the beginning of the year, we were all very stressed out, and to reach out to our principals and to say, hey, can we come in? You kind of don't want to be another bother, but we still had to reach out and discuss with them. And it was the same, like a lot of my principals said, we really need mental health. We need some anxiety, some stress stuff. And so, we've just changed I mean, not necessarily changed our program, just talked more about the mental health side effects, or not side effects, but things that we can do for the kids to help them through this, right? And like the school that I'm going into this week, like they were very excited. Like we're doing our regular program. So I'm, you know, right from K to grade 6, I'm going to be doing. So I've got 6 programs running right now. And that's, my hands are not for hitting all the way up to kiddo and Y try. So they wanted their full programs, and they're trying to keep their school year kind of as normal as possible, right? So still bringing in Miss Roy, still having the same programming, you know, still seeing my face, which I think is really good too, because then, you know, like it's just so much easier to engage with these kids when they already know you, right? And if we can keep that up, that makes it so much more easier. So much easier, not more easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amanda, we're in Sylvan Lake. I'm Krista from Sylvan Lake, FCSS. We're running in-person programming in schools too. I think one of the things that was really helpful for us is we came very close with our public health inspector with Alberta Health Services. So we talk almost on a daily, and we were able to provide protocols that the schools felt comfortable with, and they felt comfortable with, and the town felt comfortable with. So from the town's perspective, we had to provide them with a letter from the superintendent saying, this is our protocols, they're comfortable with them. We will follow all the protocols of the school as well. And then also we had to have AHS sign off on those protocols saying, yes, they agree that they also would be adequate in keeping the kids safe in the community. So we are doing very much like mental health and suicide prevention type programming. So we're running the community helpers program in our high school right now in person, and we'll be starting in our middle school here within the next week. And then also our Stress Busters program that Tatiana runs. So we're doing that program in person in our high school as well. And right now we are waiting on approval from protocols to start up our after school program in person. Again, same thing with lower numbers, protocols in place. Our Alberta Health Services public health has let us know that, you know, after school programs, even if they're on licensed childcare programs, are still fall under that childcare guidance document. And so can run programs under that guidance document, and teen programs as well. So we're running some teen support programs that we can run in person as well.
Awesome. And was it also the school division? It would obviously be the school division that you had talked to, Krista, for getting permission to be in, hey?
Yeah, so our school division stated, you know, they leave it up to their admin to decide whether they're comfortable with people coming into their schools or not. However, from the town perspective, they wanted to have that confirmation from the superintendent. So to write letters, and so the schools provided letters that the superintendents signed off on saying they're comfortable with us coming into the school to offer this specific type of programming. Mm-hmm. And we, you know, some of the other protocols we put in place too is we don't enter the school until the kids are already in class, and then we leave before the kids leave for class so that we're not in the hallways in between classes. So that was a big one for us as well. And again, using we've eliminated all of that interactive group work we would typically do in the classroom. It's mostly just our staff standing in the front of the classroom and engaging in discussion. And some knowledge learning there. So yeah, it was that twofold, the Alberta Health Services saying that, yep, they feel comfortable with it, and the school division. And right now we're only doing that in our public school division. Our Catholic school division isn't quite there. They're not quite sure about that yet. So we're doing things virtually in the other schools right now.
Excellent. That's good. That's good to know. I had kind of got like a firm at the beginning of the year that our school division didn't want anybody other than staff, and there's 2 counselors that had been approved to enter the school, and I really honestly hadn't thought about, you know, checking again, but I hearing what you had to say that kind of makes me a little bit excited, and maybe I could convince them to let me in. Excellent. Anybody else?
I can go. I will also highlight on in-school programming. I'm Jenna with Yellowhead County FCSS. So Sandy is one of my coworkers. She is a youth program coordinator and I'm the children's program coordinator. So one of the programs that we typically offer is Roots of Empathy. And that was one of the programs we put out to the schools, and we were able to offer it virtually or in person or in a modified way this year. And one of the principals in our school division in Wildwood actually was willing to open this program for in person. So I've been going into the school, into the kindergarten class, delivering that program in person this year. So that was really exciting that they were willing. It's a really small classroom and we have a large space. And so we kind of doubled up on our blanket and just kind of modified enough to make it as safe as possible. And obviously keep touching base with the volunteer family as well, just to make sure that they're still comfortable with everything constantly changing. So that's been really good. We definitely have struggled with virtual programming in our communities. I tried offering a virtual baking therapy using a certified counselor out of Leduc. It was going to be in a really small group setting, and we unfortunately had to cancel that one. So yeah, the virtual programs have been a bit touch and go for us, for sure. I am going to try, in partnership with the Yellowhead County Libraries, an intergenerational rhyme time, trying to just have that connection between families with young children and seniors, kind of like that sharing of rhymes and songs, and just focusing on connecting those two groups. So very hopeful that one will be a go. We did we're piloting a family fun kit project. So instead of having kind of more craft kits with replenishable items, we're using toys that we had on hand, kind of more like a toy lending library, so that we can promote some family fun time at home. So we're gonna kind of lend out these kits for a weekend of family fun. We just started this last week and we've had a few kits go out, so that's nice to see. One of our coworkers is also doing a pen pal program. So she went into the schools and asked, I guess she wrote the schools and asked the principals if they were interested in any classrooms writing letters to seniors, and she will match them up with a senior in the county, and then they'll kind of become pen pals. And so she's got a really good response to that, I know. So yeah, it's just constantly we're gearing up for summer programming, so we're hopeful as well that we can hopefully go in person. We're very hopeful that restrictions will lift, but yeah, it's just a constant staying on top of things and shifting and pivoting. Well, that's me.
Thank you really very much. Anybody else like to share about some of their successes that they've had with their programming so far?
Hi there. So Jenna, you talked about summer programming, and I'd just like to take this time. We're also going to be doing a life skills. We're not doing summer day camps anymore, but we're doing life skills. And so we've got sort of 3 themes that I would like to pick people's brain on to see if there's any materials, content already. We can certainly do the research ourselves, but I just wanted to ask this group if you've got any programs that really specifically deal with, so our three themes will be: 1 will be conflict resolution, And I'd like to do this. I'd like to do these skills, you know, for different age groups. I think conflict resolution is definitely a life skill. We know cooking is too, but we're not going to focus on cooking. Well, I mean, we can incorporate the cooking in the skill in the day camps, but we're really going to hit on conflict resolution, public speaking, and reading body language. So those, and you know what? And we might even do, we might even throw in self-defense in there too. That might be a little bit on crossing the line a little bit, but we're going to do it anyway. So conflict resolution, public speaking skills, and reading body language. Those are the ones we're going to do research on and compile programs and offer this life skills in the summer. So I just wanted to, you know, sort of put that out there. And if you guys have anything that you might have already used or think that would be awesome, then please share. Thank you.
Lisa, what age group are you looking for those?
So that's a really good question. And I think what we're going to have to do is take a good look at our recreation program and make sure that we're offering, like, I would almost like to say 2 groups, like maybe 9 to 12, and then, you know, 13 to 16.
said,
but
yeah.
So 2 different groups, 2 different age groups, and different skills and activities will likely be incorporated into each of those, or at least modified slightly for the younger kids.
Lisa, I'm not sure if there's anyone on here from any of our colleagues are on here from Rocky Mountain House, but they've been doing a program called Adulting 101, and it is that life skills based, and like they're doing everything. Like it could be teaching youth how to change the oil in a car or change a tire, or there's, you know, it could be like doing taxes or whatever. So they've got some really great stuff going on there at Rocky Mountain House. You might be a good way to connect with the staff there, Andrea or Rebecca.
Awesome. Thanks, Karen. Did you get those names, Amanda?
I did. And Alicia on here said that she's in Drumheller and she's running the 101. Alicia, would you like to talk a little bit about that for us? Or Joe from Cold Lake?
I can talk just quickly from Cold Lake if that's good. So yeah. In Cold Lake here, we recently just offered the Adulting 101 we offer that as a Zoom session. So we in past offered that as a live, but recently we did shift it, to a Microsoft Teams. That's the platform we're able to use. That program covers a little bit of tax information. It covers a little bit of information on healthy eating. It covers a little bit of information on getting your own job, rental agreements, what that would look like, getting your first apartment, those kinds of things. So it shifts a little bit depending on which kids we have enrolled in the program. But those are kind of like the basic topics we do offer. We did condense that program in order to run it in a 2-hour block, because just we're finding with our Microsoft Teams sessions, like 2 hours, maybe 3 max. And that's kind of what we're doing. Just because it's too long of a period for our youth to sit for that long. And then we are in the development right now of creating a transition to teenhood program. And that program will run in the next month is when that one is running as well. So it'll be so a good match for those 2 programs.
Excellent. Joe, I was hoping that you would be able to provide us with that, with your what's the word I'm looking for? With your program, like, would you be able to email that out to some of us?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we have our youth programmer is just away today, but we do have like a PowerPoint that we created here. And that's what we've been kind of just going off of. So yeah, I can definitely send that. Amanda, would that be to you? And then.
Well, actually, I think Melissa, I think if we send everything to Melissa and then she sends it out to us, is that correct, Melissa?
Yeah, that works perfect. Thanks.
Okay.
Perfect. Awesome. Yeah, we can definitely send that out.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Joe.
No problem.
Alicia Smith, would you be willing to talk a little bit about your Adulting 101 class? Maybe she stepped away for a little bit.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Okay, sorry, I just kind of lost you for a minute there.
Okay.
But hi, I'm Alicia with the Drumheller FCSS. I'm the youth coordinator here. And we do run the Adulting 101. So it's a 10 session series that we kind of range to that 10, like grades 10 to 12. So kind of leaving the home, maybe going to school, maybe going to the workforce, that kind of thing. So included in it is applying for scholarships in post-secondary, your basic cooking skills, how to save and budget, your basic clothing maintenance, like how to properly wash your clothes, how to put a button back on your favorite pair of jeans, like that kind of thing. Job applications, doing your taxes, knowing your mental status, roommates and rentals, basic car maintenance, and the last one is kind of that industry standards, is be on time and how to look somebody in the eyes in an interview and kind of read their body language and that kind of thing. So that's the program that we run. And I would be more than willing to send you guys all the information that I have on that if you guys want to know anything.
That would be great. If you could share that with Melissa too, Alicia, we would appreciate that.
Yeah.
Because we've been, like, Lisa and I have been talking for a long time about running some sort of life skills, but again, we didn't want to reinvent the wheel. And I'm super excited that everybody has this information. And then because we gave up our summer day camps to the rec department, we want to run this as a summer camp, you know, and like teach them stuff, but still make it fun and engaging and just a different platform, or not platform, just a different way to get to them. So that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I will totally forward that on to Melissa.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Well, that's exciting. Does anybody want to answer that question of the target age group for the Adulting 101? Like Lisa and I had discussed having kind of two age groups, like one 14 to 16 and kind of up, and then another younger one. You girls that are already running it, what age group do you run with?
In Drumheller, we focus on the kids in grades 10 to 12.
Yeah. And Joe, you said you do run the older kids as well, right? Yeah.
So for us, it's 14 plus, and we have had some young adults attend that session as well. So we open it all the way up to probably like early 20s. We've had people come through that one as well.
Okay. Barb had asked if you guys could also send your PLMs along with it. That would be wonderful too. We could have a look at those as well. Thank you for remembering that, Barb. All right. Anybody else have some fabulous things they'd like to share about their programming?
Sorry. I'll put my video up. I can share a new program that we're just rolling out, and we've actually had a bit of success with. just recently. We've started a new mentoring program. So we have a few different mentoring programs. Our in-school mentoring program isn't happening just because of restrictions. But we started a new program called Meant to Succeed. And it's a career-based mentoring program that we've partnered with our Red Deer College on and the high school. And so we're matching college, recent graduates of college or current college students up with high school. Right now, we're just using Zoom for them to connect. But we will be, the Canadian Mentoring Partnership is, or Canadian Mentor, what is it called now? Canada Mentors is rolling out a new e-mentoring platform. And so we're hoping to kind of get on that once that's out. But we have had quite a few college students sign up already to mentor, and the focus being on just sort of helping ease that anxiety of deciding on post-secondary and what they should expect, that sort of thing. So they would meet about at least 1 hour a week. And again, it's all online, and we do all the screening and all of that process for them. So that program has, I think, we'll see quite a bit of success in it. And even past COVID, we're going to continue that program on as an e-mentoring program, because we see it just being more valuable that way, and more easily accessible for everyone involved.
Thanks, Krista. That sounds really great too. I'm just writing notes as we're going here. I really like that idea.
I can put in the chat, I can just put where you can find more information about that program. All of our mentoring programs are on our website, so I can definitely put that there, and you can find information, or just let me know and I can send some more information your way.
Okay, thank you. Eugena had a question about what are the logistics of things like changing attire? Is it a demonstration, safety waivers, etc.? I know for us, when we do our summer camps, we always have a waiver form that they have to sign. That would includes any of the activities that we do. So I would assume that would be the same thing. We might have to modify them a tad bit. All right. Who's next? Who else would like to share about some of their programs and their online experiences? What a quiet bunch this Monday, hey?
Good morning. So Lynn Smith from Town of St. Paul FCSS. We don't have a youth coordinator. So with being a little bit smaller, anything that I do ends up being through the youth council that I oversee. So some of the stuff that we've done, obviously our Lakeland Family Resource Network kind of oversees our babysitting and our home alone courses. So we had done several of those in the fall. There's great demand, and there still would be, but we're kind of waiting for us to be at least able to go back to maybe 5 kids able to come in and take that in person. We haven't changed that one to do it virtually yet. Our FSLWs here in our region are actually embedded in the schools. So they run their program very much through the division rather than through FCSS, just the way it was set up here. What we have done with our youth council, though, is they've done some virtual kind of scavenger hunts where people can go and find a clue, and it continues on. So they've been doing some of that kind of work. They've also done rainbow notes on lockers. So they're like a black sticky note, and when you scribble on them, it shows up in rainbow colors, which is really cool. So they did those with encouraging notes and asked permission to put those up on lockers in their schools. So they've done that. They've also been active posting on their Instagram mental health apps that they like, that they would recommend to fellow students. So that's kind of been the little bit of programming. We had done kits before for youth. We had kind of done a charcuterie board for young adults that, and it came with a bunch of mental health supports and conversation starters that they could do with their family or virtually with a friend as well. So yeah, that's kind of been our programming. So for those smaller organizations that don't have a youth coordinator, I feel ya. And but those are some of the things that we have been able to continue during this time.
Excellent. Thank you, Lynn. Anybody else like to share some of their programs that have gone on so far?
Hi, I'm Shannon. I am the Youth Do Crew Coordinator at Barron's Eureka Warner FCSS. So that's down in Southern Alberta. I'm based out of Coaldale. The Youth Do Crew is a position that, or a program that we have that's funded through the federal government, through Canada Service Corps. So some of our outcomes are probably a little bit different than what other people are doing. But we have struggled to do a lot of volunteering and service, which is the main aspect of that program and what pretty much all of our outcomes are related to. We're working in 4 rural communities down in Southern Alberta with this program. So Coaldale, Colehurst, Taber, and Raymond. But one of the outcomes is to provide skill building sessions. And it's pretty vague. It's skill building sessions that aid in the transition to adulthood. So in the fall, we had a chance to kind of get some feedback from some youth. A lot of the youth that are in this program are actually graduating high school this year and kind of right in that transition to adulthood right now. So it was a good time to get their feedback. A lot of them asked for help with things like applying for scholarships and finding scholarships, writing letters, how to make it seem less daunting. So in all the school divisions down here, there's no school on Friday afternoons. So every other Friday, we run virtual skill building sessions, and they're open to all the youth in the different Do Crews, which is kind of unique. It used to just be the communities had programming on their own when we were in person, but with virtual programming, it's nice that the youth get a chance to kind of meet other people or other youth from other communities. So some of the skills that we've gone over have been how to write a scholarship letter and how to find scholarships to make the whole process seem a lot daunting. So I ran a program for how to make a scholarship portfolio. We did a resume workshop. Next month we have the money mentors coming in, and they're doing a financial literacy workshop, which I was surprised, but that was actually the most requested topic from our youth. Was financial literacy and money management. So someone in the January programming meeting had actually, I'm not sure who it was, but someone had mentioned the money mentors. So if you're here today, thank you for that, because they're going to be coming in virtually and giving this presentation at the end of March. So things have been kind of slow here. But we're still trying to work in these skill building sessions as best we can. I'm not working in the schools myself. That's not really what I do in my position anyways. We do have some staff who aren't here today who usually do more work in the schools who aren't at this time. They're doing lots of things virtually, but as far as my programming, we've been doing skill building every other Friday and it's working so far. So
thanks.
Awesome, thank you. Well, there's been some great stuff shared this morning. I have 2 pages of notes, so that's wonderful. Anybody else want to add anything?
Amanda?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you know, while people are thinking about if they have anything else to share and everything, I just want to say, like, just a comment. So life skills or adulting 101 really kind of puts my mind into the older age group. Whereas I think we all know that we've got to build resilience and life skills in these littler kids too. So just a point there. And then also wanted to just take this time to let Amber Hennig speak. So Amber is going to do just a quick little trailer, so we'll call it, about, oh, there she is, woo! About fostering creativity, because Amber's going to be doing another Zoomer session just with that topic alone. So I'm just going to hand it off, and Amber can kind of give us a quick peek of what's to come, and the date too.
So hello everyone, I'm super excited. April 1st, we are going to be hosting, and I will be talking about fostering creativity in the workplace. What I've loved listening in on these youth sessions and on the senior sessions, you hear so much about FCSS and how much we collaborate and work with other people. A lot of things have been bouncing through my head. I don't know if people have experienced it in their offices, but as time has worn on and this environment that we have, I think creativity, sometimes positivity is taking a bit of a hit. I mean, I think everybody on this call and what I'm hearing, I hear excitement, I hear enthusiasm. I guess we just wanted to give a little like top up on creativity. So I'm pretty stoked. I hope that you guys will join me. I have, okay, I'm going to give you a sneak peek, but so the first part of the presentation is going to talk about our creativity killers and what we can do to take care of them and work with those people in our community, in our own offices, and how each of us in FCSS who inspires people in our community, how are we inspiring the people we work with? Because as a team, it's just so much better, the outcomes that you get. Lisa, thank you for thinking that I would do a quick introduction. That was nice. But it's going to be fun. I'm going to make it interactive. I hope you guys are prepared to giggle a little. Somebody once told me, well, a couple of people told me I'm funny. I don't know. I have my moments. But so hopefully April 1st, you guys will join us, and we're going to do some fostering creativity.
Oh, thank you. All right.
I can't wait to sit and listen to that, Amber. The Teen Skill Zone. Christine, you were asked if you could share that information. If you send it to Melissa, she can send it out to all of us.
Yeah, you bet I will. And you can hear me, I think, hey?
Yep.
Okay. I was just typing in here, but I'll tell you instead. We started out with something called Teen Chill Zone, and that's a Friday night program that is pretty well end of the week. You made it through the week. Let's get together and socialize and let loose, just more of a fun program. And last year we did a partner one with that called the Teen Skill Zone, and that's all about life skills like everybody's talking about. Really got a good uptake with that. It's also fun too, and we usually feed them and all that when we're allowed to do that kind of stuff. But yeah, we've done all those things. The catalyst for that one was the learners course that we do, and we put, I know I mentioned before, we probably put about 300 youth through our learners prep course. And then we've done public speaking. We're doing the car mechanics and all that. And I love what everybody's saying. It's so good to get community businesses and organizations involved with this. So we partner with the college, we partner with employabilities, we partner with the grocery store, real people in town that the kids will now get a connection with. And you know, now it's not just applying to the guy down the road. It's like, hey, I took that workshop with you. Remember, you and I had a conversation. So, you know, really trying to make that connection with the community. And I have to say that community partners are just really on board with that, because they want to have these good kids come out of this program that they would hire if they could. And I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said about where do I send the information, or do I just,
Well, if you can send it to Melissa, she'll make sure that it gets out to all of us.
Oh, sure. Yeah, that sounds good. And I would appreciate everybody else's information too. Yeah, because I think, you know, as I'm listening to this, I think that would be a really good thing to do. We do a summer, kind of the fun stuff in the summer, but I think a component of the life skill thing wouldn't hurt either. And I also agree that there is a bit of a difference probably with the younger kids as compared to the older ones. So I might actually be thinking right now maybe to branch off a little bit into the younger age group as well. So yeah, I will definitely send that information. Thank you.
No, thank you guys. I'm really excited to have all these different varieties of their adulting 101 and life skills. Like this is really exciting. Amber, we have a question about where we find more information about the creativity session. Are we signing up for it? Will there be an email?
Well, it's kind of a big surprise at this point. I was going to use telepathy, so everybody better tune in and catch some airwaves. No, I'm kidding. I believe, right? I'm sending the message now. No, there's going to be a Zoom link sent out. Basically, what a little bit more. So the concept is what the first part is going to talk a little bit about what are creativity killers. Then we're going to talk about what is a creative environment. What are the elements of an environment that foster or inspire people, keep them creative, and specifically within kind of an office or a work environment. So again, creativity killers, what do we do about them? Then we're going to talk about environment, and then we're going to do a little bit of fun. That's right, F-U-N, people, fun. And we're going to talk a little bit and do a couple of activities that you can do within your office at any given time that help keep that spark alive. Much like my abdominal muscles, your creativity muscle, if it isn't exercised, it might feel a little painful, but you'll push through, it'll be good.
Awesome. I can't believe how much I miss your face.
I washed it today and everything.
Thank you so much, Amber. We are all looking forward to that.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else like to share some more on their programming with us today? Lisa, would you like to add anything else?
No, I don't think I have anything to add.
Okay. In our registration for this email or for this meeting, we had also asked if there was any training that you would like, anything that if we'd like us to bring in a speaker for all of us to listen to, anything like that. We had asked if you had any ideas to send that to Melissa as well. And I'm going to reiterate that again, because, you know, like we're all for networking and training. And really, if there's anything that you feel like you're lacking or that you'd like to have some more information on that we could help you with, just let us know. And we'll see what we can do. Any sort of topics that you guys want to discuss for our next meeting, because we will get a date out for March here soonish. We'll let you guys know when. Oh no, we do know when that one. We'll let you guys know.
Amanda, would it be okay if I shared something that Alex is working on? Unfortunately, she had to step out. The school contacted her, so she had to step out for a minute. So one of the things that Alex has been working on, and we're just waiting to see, like in our local community with restrictions and accessing a venue space, that kind of thing, is she will be bringing in activities through her enculturation program. So they are Indigenous activities with local Indigenous culture around here is Cree. And it's an invitation to share those activities with Indigenous and non-Indigenous kids to break down some of those cultural barriers or I guess stereotypes that people may associate with an Indigenous student body In this area, we have got Northland School Division. So there is a portion of our children that attend an Indigenous school and then come in to the hamlet itself and go into the public school system or they with all of the kids. So sometimes there's a bit of a divide, perceptions. We all know what that's about. I'm talking to very smart people today. So she is working on that. The one that we really want to do, but with restrictions may not be able to, is she will actually be teaching kids how to jingle dance and fancy dance, and all of the cultural teachings and traditions that go with that. Because it is a physical activity and we don't know what COVID is, she is going to switch it up and go with traditional beading. So fingers crossed, we're just waiting to hear about restrictions and hopefully we can do small groups. And I wanted to share that piece for her.
Well, that sounds really exciting. I wish I could be there.
Well, come on down.
I'll have to talk to my boss.
I guess I do have a question, if that's okay.
For sure.
Just curious if anyone else is like experiencing duplication of services in their line of work at all. Like in our small communities, we're finding like there are different service providers or partners that like all kind of like offering something very similar. And we have set up a programmers meeting for those who do a lot of direct programming just so we can get all on the same page, but just curious to hear if anyone else is experiencing this in, especially in like the smaller rural communities where we don't have a large population to pull from and like we're kind of competing all for that specific age group. Is that just a situation for us or is anyone else experiencing that?
So I can say for our community, I have a pretty good relationship with everybody else that facilitates in our area. We have our meetings that we have. Oh my goodness, Lisa, what are they called? We have a meeting every month where everybody gets together and talks. Interagency, thank you so much. Where everybody talks about the programs that they have going on. And of course, because with FCSS, we don't duplicate programs, we just kind of try to keep the communication open so that everybody knows what everybody's doing. I know that's not always as easy to do as it is to say, but that's kind of what I do here. Like I'm in contact with our best worker in Fox Creek as well, because some of their they do run one of the program that's the same as ours, but we are allowed in the Catholic school and they're not. So there's those differentials there that we can work with. I don't know, does anybody have any other ideas for Jenna? A community conversation around child and youth programming once a month. Yeah, so that's the same as our interagency meeting that we have. And collaborate and work together as much as possible. Yeah.
I think what we're running into, and I work with Jenna, is it's not that we're not doing our interagency meetings. We absolutely have them. We participate in a few only because we are kind of located in an area that has been described as a Bermuda Triangle type of idea, where we are centered around 3 different counties. So we have Parkland, Brazeau, and we have Yellowhead County. And we are on the east end, where there's the west end, Yellowhead County, that we just don't get to because the county's just too big. We do try and get to places if like Rob and such, but our focus a lot is more on the east because that's where our contracts come from. Not contracts, but that's where the majority of our schools that we can serve are in this area. But we try and do the programmers meetings, and we have set up calendars and done so on and so forth. But we do find, because our youth, we only have one high school and these kids are coming from all these different areas, that the youth that we have, there is still the libraries and everybody else. And we all want to make sure that they're not falling through the cracks. But what is actually happening is because we are doing such similar programming and we have such limited amount of kids that are accessing that program, I feel like sometimes we're exhausting them. So we're just kind of curious, like how do you guys work? So you do the interagency meetings, we have program meetings once a month, but is there a way, like maybe we're missing something are we just not collaborating properly, or just people trying to make sure that they get the numbers for stats? I just don't know. So we were just wondering if are we the only ones experiencing that because of the situation we're in? Or has anybody done anything besides interagency meetings and calendars and trying to get people to try and link that way?
I think you spy on their social media. Like, unfortunately, you would like them to communicate with you, and like you said, through those meetings, and you put it out there, and there's still some people, by golly, you notice a post and you're like, geez, when did that come out and why don't I know about it? So, I've taken to doing a little bit more of that kind of stuff, quite frankly, and picking up the phone when I notice it and like, hi, so I noticed you guys had done this. Do you think you could give us the heads up because we'd partner with you, or, we'd put it out there for you just so, we're all in this together. And, sometimes you just have partners that won't do that. And then they wonder why their program isn't filled either, because they haven't reached the audience that they needed to. And it might have been something that was wonderful. It might have been a culturally appropriate program as well. So that's what I've taken to, spying on social media.
Well, I appreciate that, Lynn, because then that just makes us feel a little better that we're just not necessarily the only ones docking our boat at that port,
So here in the Hamlet of Grand Cache, we do run into duplication, like just in the length of time I've been here, experienced duplication. I think to be a shameless self-promoter, part of the creativity thing that will be happening on April 1st actually does address, when we talk about collaboration and creativity, they go hand in hand. We're going to talk a little bit about what we're bringing into a meeting, but what we do here, it is difficult. So we do an interagency as well, but Alex has specifically reached out to key players in the community that may not necessarily be an agency or an organization rep, I think, and try to get those people to come to the table. So before COVID, she had amazing momentum. As a parent herself with kids in a wide, she's got 3, so she's kind of got a big age range there, is about, and I don't want this to sound bad, for lack of a better word, targeting specific influential adults in your community. So in every parenting group, there is that parent that if they say this is the best thing since sliced bread, every other parent will sign their kid up. About bringing the agencies and potentially that community parent to come to a meeting and to talk and get buy-in that way. Because I think one of the biggest things with duplication of services as well, or what I've experienced in the past, is nobody's coming. The best way to promote a program in this area is word of mouth. So if you're inviting some of those non-agency or organization people together for a conversation, I mean, you can open it up publicly. I think we've had more success with targeted specific personal invites. As an individual, if I see a posting and somebody were to call me and say, hey, we're doing this thing, we know you're involved with your kids and in sorts of groups, we would love your input. You're bringing that community member in. The one thing that I found really interesting in that dynamic as well is when we did bring community members, and one was a grandma actually here in the community, when we brought them to the table, I found that sometimes that kind of territorial piece that I've been guilty of bringing into a meeting, or that agencies bring, you'll see it tapped down a bit when there's outside community members there. And really about having intentional conversations with targeted subject matter. Start small, go hugely successful, but bring those people to the table. Sorry, that's just my 2 cents.
No, that's great. Thank you, Amber. Any more questions?
Sorry, this doesn't have to do with what our meeting's all about. I'm just wondering, can we still register for that creativity thing on April 1st? Or is there registration for that? I might have missed all that, but.
Yes, the registration will be sent out via an email, right? Yeah. Yep.
Okay, awesome. Thanks.
Yes, Melissa will send out an email for y'all to register, but there's also, I see that she has put it in the chat box already. But yeah, it's not really going out yet. It was just more like an opportunity to do a trailer for Amber and get you guys excited.
Well, I think that worked. Okay. All right. Well, I think that we, unless anybody has any final comments or questions, I feel like we've kind of exhausted our topic today. Any final words, Lisa?
No.
We want to thank everybody for coming again today. It was a wonderful session. And as Melissa posted, we'll see everybody. Our next meeting is on the 29th. Same time, same place.
Great. Thanks again to Amanda and Lisa. And yeah, we will get all the information out. If there's any resources you want us to send out, I put my email in the chat box, but it's director@fcssaa.org, and we will get that out. Probably I'll wait until tomorrow then to get the recording and everything out to everyone. And we will make sure we get that creativity session booked up and sent out to everyone. I think that will be a really exciting session.
All right.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank
Have an
you.
amazing week.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.